None of those lawmakers saw the movie.
I spoke to Mr. Iger yesterday, told him I thought that this was unfair. I haven't seen it. I've had reports from people that have seen it.
Well, the frustration to me was that the people who were campaigning hardest against it had never seen it.
Well, I haven't seen it.
I have not seen it.
No, I have not seen it. I have not been consulted. I haven't talked to anyone about it.
I have not seen the entire film myself.
I've not seen the movie. I've not been provided with a copy of it.
So they were going on hearsay of a couple of people, I guess, who they thought had seen it. But I kept asking them, I said, look at it, and then come back to me and tell me what you think. But they didn't want it to be shown at all. I mean, they hadn't seen it. They didn't want anybody to see it, and that's not the way we generally work in this country.
At a press conference, Senator Reid repeated the false claim that the Path to 9/11 started as a documentary, which was never the case. It was always conceived as a docudrama, a dramatic presentation of the events leading to 9/11.
They started off with this as being a documentary. They changed it to a docudrama, and now it's a work of fiction.
We'd be morons if we said this was a documentary. I mean, we hired actors, we wrote a script, we shot on location. Nobody in their right mind would think this is a documentary. I mean, the notion that we had made a documentary had become so ingrained in the media mindset that months later, Jane Mayer writes in an article in the New Yorker that Disney was forced to admit that this was not a documentary. Well, we never called it a documentary. We always called it what it was, a docudrama.
In the House of Representatives, things were just as intense, with New York Congresswoman Louise Slaughter leading the fight to ban the Path 9/11 from the airwaves. Slaughter even sponsored a petition to get ABC to, quote, come clean, that what they had always called a docudrama was indeed a docudrama.
We demand that ABC run a disclaimer in every single frame. Saying up front this is not true is not good enough. It's got to be in every frame. Don't believe this.
Yeah, Congresswoman Louise Slaughter, who's very close to Hillary Clinton and a big supporter of Hillary Clinton's, got up on the congressional floor and basically said, you know, this movie needs to be pulled and we need to look at the people who are behind this. So I guess that means me.
The person who wrote this has a clear ideological agenda.
I saw no evidence of a political agenda. I voted for Bill Clinton twice. I'm a Democrat. I was really just hoping to find out the truth about 9/11.
A third wave of attacks on the film and the filmmakers came from the internet. Foremost among these keyboard mudslingers was left-wing blogger Max Blumenthal. Blumenthal specializes in a guilt by association tactic, which is especially ironic given his own web of connections.
Max Blumenthal is the son of Sidney Blumenthal, who was the #1 hatchet man for the Clintons during the Clinton-Lewinsky impeachment saga. It exposed that Blumenthal had made the pure switch from being a journalist to being a water carrier for the Clintons, and arguably their #1 weapon in terms of attacking anyone that would attack the Clintons. And Max Blumenthal has decided that he's going to fight those people who have fought his father.
In his battle against the Path to 9/11, Blumenthal concocted a conspiracy theory that even Narasta's friend Oliver Stone would have likely found impossible to believe. He wrote, quote, in fact, the Path to 9/11 is produced and promoted by a well-honed propaganda operation consisting of a network of little-known right-wingers working from within Hollywood to counter its supposedly liberal bias. This is the network within the ABC network. Its godfather is far-right activist David Horowitz.
The godfather of the film. Well, that's news to me. I hadn't even heard of the film before it was finished. Max Blumenthal's article has more false statements per square inch than any other article I'm familiar with.
Max Blumenthal peddles in media destruction by way of innuendo. He'll mention that somebody knows somebody or somebody's a friend of somebody, and somehow that makes what that person had to say illegitimate.
Blumenthal's incredible charges of a secret conservative network within ABC ran in numerous mainstream media outlets. Blumenthal also claimed that Narasta acquaintance Govindati Murthy, who co-founded the conservative-leaning Liberty Film Festival and who had written one of the first reviews of the movie, was also part of this underground network.
I wish I secretly controlled ABC. That'd be fabulous. Maybe they could, greenlight some of my scripts. I haven't gotten any, residual payments from them yet for the path to 9/11. I haven't gotten my secret right-wing check. I've been looking for it in the mail, but damn it, I haven't gotten it yet.
Of course it's preposterous. Of course it's preposterous. The hoops that you have to jump through to get anything made, to get a 30-second PSA made, never mind 5 hours. It is preposterous. I mean, you'd have to live here to understand how mad that is. It's just madness.
The smoking gun that should have instantly disproved these crazy conspiracy theories was that the man really behind the path to 9/11, ABC's senior VP for miniseries, Quinn Taylor, is, like almost all of those in the film's hierarchy, an openly liberal Democrat. Mysteriously, ABC did not allow Taylor to publicly respond to the charges of a right-wing agenda, even though doing so would have rendered many of the Clinton attacks instantly powerless. Later, Disney prevented him from doing a scheduled interview for this project. Narasta has heard ample evidence, which this documentary can confirm, that this was all part of a pro-Clinton strategy on the part of Disney.
I've heard audio evidence, interview with Quinn, where basically he was stopped from speaking out, from defending the movie, from clearly proving that there was no political agenda behind this movie, because essentially the parent company had decided, you know what, we're going to take a dive. We're going to unilaterally disarm, and we're going to hang these people out to dry, meaning me and David Cunningham, and let them take the fall. We've got to be quiet because, after all, the Clintons are upset. And I know that's what Quinn said in the interview that I heard, and that's what a lot of other people at the company felt was going on.
Here, in an interview for the making of film, Taylor talks about the origins of the miniseries coming from the 9/11 Commission report.
I read it in September, had dinner with a very dear friend of mine who had just finished it, and we were talking about how it reads like a Tom Clancy novel. And I said, she said, you should do it as a movie. I said, well, oh my God, it's so big. How do you begin to do it?
The very idea that a movie could be made to exclusively harm Democrats at the level of ABC, which is run by a lifelong Democrat and Clinton supporter, all of them are, is so beyond preposterous that anyone that would assert that should be summarily dismissed for all of their opinions from there on out.
The claim was preposterous, even laughable, but the laughter ended when Narasta's home address and phone number were posted online, smearing the movie and urging others to, quote, take the gloves off.
We got death threats, we got hate mail, I had the cops at my house, I had the FBI following up.
But I mean, death threats, come on. This is America. What are we in, Iran?
Well, I think that Max Blumenthal is directly responsible for the threats that I received and for the hate mail that I received and for a lot of the vicious stuff that was fired at me. And Max Blumenthal's charges are all lies. I mean, he made them up.
Remarkably, the war to destroy the path to 9/11 was just beginning. The next target, director David Cunningham.
And I was quietly surfing in Hawaii when some of that initial stuff went down. And I felt really bad for Cyrus because they were going after him in a big way. And then I got a call from my friend, our producer Hans, and he said, David, I have a feeling they're going to come after you next. And I said, why? I'm not a political guy. I haven't spoken out in any political venue. I'm an independent and all that. And he says, no, I think it's because of your religion, your faith, and your parents. That I think they're going to use that against you. I didn't even understand that. Well, why would my faith have anything to do with my politics.
Max Blumenthal wrote, quote, "Cunningham is no ordinary Hollywood journeyman. He is in fact the son of Loren Cunningham, founder of the right-wing evangelical group Youth with a Mission, a secretive evangelical religious right group that proclaims its goal to transform Hollywood in line with its messianic vision."
My parents work with an interdenominational Christian organization. The quickest way to describe it is sort of like a Christian Peace Corps, where there's thousands of young people around the world helping out in orphanages and bringing education to developing countries. It's an amazing work and something that I'm very proud of that they're a part of, and I am as well.
Well, first of all, his father was not running the ministry. That's why I'm here today as the president to say that was wrong. He's a real hero to us, his dad, and he did launch the movement, but he is not the operational head.
Blumenthal also wrongly claimed, incredibly, that YWAM, a Christian mission with no political ties, actually funded a $40 million hit piece on a former president.
The most laughable lie out there was this story that Youth with a Mission was somehow behind financing and manipulating a major studio in Hollywood. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And I couldn't even believe that made it past the editor's desk and all these various publications. It was like, what is wrong with these people letting this stuff go by?
This whole sort of scenario, this fantasy, is just it's comical, and it's hard to believe, but there's a large cross section of the media that bought it.
According to Blumenthal, I worked hand in glove with David Cunningham, the director of the film, in a secret religious society. I had never heard of David Cunningham until Blumenthal's article came out, and I've still never met the man, and I have no idea what organization Blumenthal is referring to. So this is a complete fabrication.
The idea that we're all part of a Christian right-wing conspiracy is strange, given that David Horowitz is Jewish, I'm Hindu, my husband's agnostic, and Cyrus is of Islamic background. So it's kind of a strange right-wing Christian conspiracy there.
It's irrelevant. Doesn't mean anything. It's disgusting. I didn't like it. For what reason? So a guy's a Christian. It's like saying that he's a Muslim and he's a Jew. So what? What's that got to do with making a movie?
But in the liberal Rosie O'Donnell perception of Christianity, if you're a Christian at all, you're automatically a right-wing bomber of abortion clinics. So the attacks on David and his father and their Christian mission were really sad.
And the controversy surrounding the path to 9/11, I still haven't seen that film. Most of my life is lived beyond North America. My experience was being in an airport departure lounge of a tiny West African airport in the Gambia and looking up and seeing in the overhead monitor that I was being accused of funding this venture, which I didn't hardly know existed. And so here I was in the Gambia, of all places. It just really was ridiculous.
It got very personal when they started going after my father, and he was a snake handler all of a sudden, and it was just unbelievable, laughable, really. And then when threats started happening from that, and this email started circulating saying, take the gloves off for anybody who's affiliated with this project, we became actually frightened because it got really, really intense. And everything in me wanted to fight back and say, what are you guys talking about? Your facts are so wrong, and you are smearing people that are doing good work. And have you ever thought about the people that you're smearing and this nonprofit organization that is out there helping feed orphans and so on, and now their supporters are questioning certain things?
The impact of this controversy on YWAM is not quantifiable in mathematical terms, but anecdotally I know that it sent a shudder of discouragement throughout the thousands of volunteers around the world, and was a matter of discord. It was also something damaging because every one of those volunteers relies on their home churches and a constituency of friends to support them. None of us are salaried. And so if you cast aspersions on that good name, what it does is it affects people and the goodwill and financial support that they have in doing the good works that they do.
What influence does your dad have on the way you direct a movie?
Oh, yeah. No one thought about that, did they? Those allegations. Good point. Yeah, my father doesn't have a lot of influence on how I direct a film, you know. So even that notion is ridiculous.
There's a second element to the controversy. ABC denied that the movie had any connection with a Christian group called Youth with a Mission. They call themselves YWAM. But less than an hour ago, one of our producers interviewed a spokesman for an organization called the Film Institute, an auxiliary of YWAM, and the Film Institute confirmed that David Cunningham, the director of this film, is on their board, that TFI had a dozen interns and an advisor on the set. The spokesman denied that TFI either funded or initiated the film The Path to 9/11, but it confirmed that part of the mission of TFI is to have a positive influence on Hollywood movies.
While left-wing propagandist Keith Olbermann fought against the evil forces hoping to have a positive influence on Hollywood, he never explained about that YWAM intern program. Was that the nest from which the right-wing conspiracy was hatched?
The interns, they typically bring you coffee and haul gear around. They don't have any say in content.
Does the director being on TFI's board change this story at all?
Well, I think it does, because this has all the markings of TFI's project. They had a project, they sent out a newsletter to their members saying, our first project's called the Untitled History Project. And then that's how this project was referred to under development. It was reported in the New York Post. This is the Untitled History Project. Harvey Keitel on TV the other day referred to it as the ABC History Project. That's how it was presented to him. So basically, this has started in what really is an evangelical advocacy group, and now has made its way to ABC Entertainment.
I am less offended by Max Blumenthal and his ilk than I am the mainstream media that allows for these double standards, these clear double standards to exist, and that these intimidation tactics, which are clearly over the top, are successful time and again.
Between the writer and the director and their own special interests, can you characterize Path to 9/11 as a stealth attack in the culture wars?
Well, I think that's right. You know, you could probably give them the benefit of the doubt before you saw the film. I've had a chance to look at it, and it's very clear that there is a political agenda here. They say it's based on the 9/11 Commission report. Most of the stuff in there directly contradicts the 9/11 Commission report, or at least the key scenes. So it has all the markings of a group of people with an agenda, and now that this history sort of unravels, it becomes clearer and clearer.
Judd Lagum with thinkprogress.org. Great thanks for your time tonight. Good work on this.
I was shocked by the degree to which the media can distort and defame and destroy.
With the media blowing the wind at their back, the Clinton forces went in for the kill. They sent a second letter, laced with misspellings, to Disney, pushing for ABC to edit the film or, quote, pull the drama entirely.
I just want people to tell the truth, and not to pretend that it's something it's not.
We know now that, thanks to Carol Felsenthal's book, Clinton in Exile, that Bill Clinton called Bob Iger directly and demanded that the movie be pulled. We also know now that Bill Clinton called the former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, who at that time was chairman of the board at Disney, to also call Bob Iger and demand that the movie be pulled. It was during that Labor Day weekend that we knew these calls were taking place, and we started to realize, and I started to fear that, this miniseries may not air at all. And that was shocking.
Wolf, more controversy tonight. Letters from Bill Clinton's office, his former national security advisor, and former Secretary of State calling for the ABC movie to be canceled. No indication that will happen, but the fallout still at critical mass.
Every day things were going on, and all they do was, huh? Oh, they have a problem with this? quick, let's go in the edit room. Maybe we can make something work. It was, There was no, they were caught off so off guard that they, everybody was just reacting because it was such a shock to everybody that they were getting this tremendous pressure, incredible pressure to pull the show completely.
By the way, did Bin Laden object to any scenes in the movie?
Haven't heard from Osama. No, I've not heard from Bin Laden or Adam Gadon or anybody else.
So Bin Laden's people never sent you a letter asking for any scenes to be edited out or the movie to be pulled?
No. No problems from Al-Qaeda, no calls from Bin Laden.
Just from Clinton?
Well, from Clinton and Clinton supporters.
Publicly, the heart of the entire Path to 9/11 controversy and effort to get ABC to pull the film was this sequence, where the many opportunities to get Osama bin Laden during the late 1990s were combined, for the purposes of time, into one event.
We're inside. We're in position. We're ready to load the package. Repeat, do we have clearance to load the package?
What we did is we tried to truncate 2 or 3 incidences of what happened and show that the bureaucracy, once again, no one stepped up. No one was saying, no, don't go after this guy, but no one was pulling the trigger and saying yes.
But I happen to know, because of the officers who were working for me and risked their lives to gather the information, gave Mr. Clinton 10 chances to eliminate this problem. Ultimately, only he could have ordered that to be done. He never did. So when he says he did everything he could to protect Americans, it is nothing short of a black lie.
This is the supposedly controversial sequence as it was originally intended to be broadcast. U.S. intelligence agents, with the help of legendary Afghani fighter and bin Laden enemy Ahmad Shah Massoud, are surrounding bin Laden's compound. Marked are the edits on shots that audiences were supposed to see before Disney bowed to the Clinton demands for edits.
We're ready to load the package. Repeat, do we have clearance to load the package?